Yoma Daf Tezvav. Today's email comes from Chanoch Banchek. He's a principal in Gibraltar, and he says, I wanted to thank you for your great daf shir. I'm now heading a high school in Gibraltar, and a few of my talmidim are very much into the daf thanks to you. They love listening to your shir. My son is one of them, and he got me into it too. We both sit in front of the computer and learn the daf and smile together with you. As the Gemara in Pesachim says about Rabbi Yehuda ben Beseira, Sha'ata b'beis shemesh u'mitzudascha prusa b'Gibraltar. Thanks a lot, Chanoch. Chanoch Banchek, headmaster of Gibraltar Boys Secondary School. Thank you, Chanoch. Beautiful. Yoma Daf Tezvav tells us that at night, according to everybody, the menorah was lit last. It's the last avodah of the day. Even according to Abba Shol, that says that you clean out the menorah and then afterwards the ketores, agrees that at night it's the ketores and then afterwards it's the candles. Why? Because nothing comes after the candles, after the menorah, as it says in the pasuk, Yaroich oisoi me'erev ad boiker. And the Gemara learns that, number one, the menorah should be lit the entire night. It doesn't matter how long the night is and how short it is. It's always the same amount of oil is going to last the entire night. Maybe they make the wick a little thicker, or to tell us that it's the last avodah of the day. We said that there's a contradiction in the Mishnayos. Rav Papa says it doesn't make sense that we're going to start with the last two of the 7 candles, and the Mishnah afterwards talks about the first 5 candles. Our Mishnah says ketores and then neiros because it goes according to Chachamim that you have to make a stop, a real hard stop in the middle of the candles by doing the ketores. The Mishnah of the lottery is like Abba Shol, that says he holds that you don't make a hard stop with ketores, you make the hard stop with the carbon tavet. Rav Papa says you have to say that our Mishnah is Rabbanon, and then afterwards it goes Abba Shol, and then after that goes again Rabbanon. So it's Rabbanon, Abba Shol, Rabbanon, because ketores, and then comes the neiros. When you bring a carbon oila, you take the blood and you sprinkle it on the bottom of the mizbeach with a kli. You sprinkle it twice, and you hit one corner, and it gets 2 walls of shtayim shem arba. Chatos, you do it on the top part of the mizbeach, above the chud hasikra, and you do it with your finger on all 4 walls. Reb Shimon Ish HaMitzpah says, carbon tamid is a mixture. It's really a carbon oila. But as the Torah says, you have to add a little bit of a chatos, a flavor of a chatos. It says, V'soy yirizim echad lechatos l'Hashem al oilas hatamid. On top of the oila, in addition to the oila, you make it a chatos, yosef and iskay. So basically you do all the dam on the bottom of the mizbeach like a oila. But when it comes to the corner that's southwest, you take your finger and you go on the south and then the west corners, so it should be like a chatos. Now you can't say and make up something new and say that do all the matnes adam like a oila, and then afterwards repeat all the matnes with your finger, go around the 4 walls. Why? Because as soon as you do the oila, you get a kapara. There's no such thing as getting a second kapara after the first kapara. Perhaps you should do half of the dam on the bottom part of the mizbech like a oila, and then half of it on top like a chatos. That you can't do either, because you can't make something up. Now, when the Kohen Gadol sprays on Yom Kippur, 1 on top of the aron and 7 on the bottom, it doesn't mean 1 is on the kapiris and the rest is on the aron. It means like a sharpshooter, he goes on the ground, 1 after another, and he does it with part of it with his hand like this, and part of it with his hand like that, but it's not on the actual aron. Then there's also hazad he does on top of the mizbeach, but it's literally on top of the mizbeach hapnimi. Derech klal, most of the time, if you have a oila and a chatos, so you bring the chatos first. But since a carbon tamid is a oila, therefore the sprinkling of the blood of the oila comes first. You usually don't give a sprinkle of the blood when you start out immediately, when you reach the mizbeach. Why is that? Because the first corner of the mizbeach doesn't have a base. So the kohen, as he makes the right turn, he has to continue until he has a base. Now, the southern west corner is closer. But since the kohen makes a right turn, so he starts to the north. Our Mishnah in Talmud says that the person in charge of the Kohanim in the morning, he says to the Kohen, go ahead and bring me a carbon tamid from Lishkas Hatlaim, from the chamber of the sheep, which is, says Mefurish in the Mishnah, it's in the northern west corner of the Beis HaMoiked. But that's the only one of the four in Beis HaMoiked that the Mishnah tells us exactly where it is. In the Beis HaMoiked, you have also a room for the seals, the receipts. It has a room for fire, and the room where they make the lechem hapanim. But there's a contradiction, because the Mishnah Midah says that the sheep room was in the southwest corner, not in the northwest corner, and it's in the Kodesh because there's a line marking exactly where the Kodesh is. Two rooms were outside into the Chal, and two were in the Kodesh. Now, it says also lechem hapanim is Dori Mizrach, Safa Mizrach. That's where they put the stones of the Mizbeach after the Yevanim defiled it in Safa Ma'ariv. That's where they went in to do the Tefillah. The Gemara answers that it's in fact the Machlokes Tanoim. It's not a contradiction. But we're going to see later on in Daf Yud Zayin, the Gemara answers that depends from what vantage point you're looking at it. They're actually, the Lishkas Hatlaim is in the same exact place in both Mishnayos. It just depends if you're looking at it from the north, it looks like it's in the south, and if you're looking from the south, it looks like it's in the north. Have a wonderful day.